Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. We are today December 4th, 2019, and I am going to attempt to do Vlogmas, although I don't have a lot of vlogging going on, but I'll try to post as much as possible. As you guys know, I told you guys that I've started to read again. You guys can see that I'm back in my setup because thank goodness for the moment everything is a little bit quiet in the country, a little, but we'll talk about that in another topic discussions. So for today, I am going to review that book by Sister Souljah. It is called Midnight, a Gangster Love Story. Sister Souljah is one of my favorite African American author. I love Sister Souljah. Oh my God. And I had the pleasure to meet her in 2015 because she came to Boston. Mind you, when Souljah came to Boston in 2015, they did not even really advertise that. I had just happened, because I enjoy going to the library. I just happened to be at the library in Copley. And they had her posting and they said that she was coming. And she had a book signing and she was giving free books away. The way that she had it that you could purchase the book, but she had a surprise, because what she did at the end of her lecture is that she told you to look under your chair and see if you had a book. But the funny thing with it was that I don't think they really let the high school, they really didn't really do the marketing right for her, because they rented out a pretty large space, but there were not many people there. I mean, it was crowded, but I was sitting in rows where it was pretty empty. So I was super ecstatic when I was able to get her last book of that series, because this is the book is like this one, there's another one, and there's a third one. I had the two of them, but I didn't have the last one. So what the way that we are going to be doing this book reviews is I'm going to analyze different things, because lately I told you guys that I've been reading, and you guys know that I really write, and reading authors such as Sister Souljah helps me a lot outside of content of the book and the fact that the book is great, but in terms of my writing skills, in terms of just everything that you need, the style, how you're supposed to write. So I enjoy reading authors like Souljah, because Souljah is the bomb. I feel like people do not but then again, unfortunately, with the US, Souljah being an African American, other people have to put her where she needs to be put, which is on a pedestal. So for the remaining of the books that I'm reading, the way that I am going to be doing the reviews is that I am going to analyze the characters. All right, so we're going to analyze character development. We're going to analyze, I have my notes here. We're going to analyze the writing style, so the writing styles. We are going to analyze the storyline, and then I have content. So before I say anything about this book, let me just go into read for you the different topics that I just enumerated. And then after that, we'll talk a little bit, we'll have a little bit of a discussions about how amazing this book was. Okay. So the first thing that I said that the book is an easy going, it is an easy read, but also it is very structured. Guys, I'm reading from this is how I have to write, okay? I said reading this book reading this book will help you with your language development, your sentence structure, your grammar, your punctuation, and your transition lines. So if you are an aspiring writer, or if you're just someone who loves to reading Resurrect, Midnight, and a Gangster Love Story is going to do that for you. So I said, I wrote it. I said it and I wrote it. I said, if you are an aspiring writer, you will enjoy the writing style of this book. If you are a reader, you won't have any difficulties getting into the story. Matter of fact, you won't be able to put it down. Correct. Like I finished this book in like less than a week. Remember how I told you that we had no electricity for like about 2 weeks or so, and I picked this book up and I started to read it, and I just could not put it down. All right. So now let's talk about, am I talking too fast? But it's late. That's why. Sorry. So let's talk about the storyline of the book. This is what I said. I said that the storyline of the book is centered around a family of 3 who found themselves having to abruptly leave their estate and comfort in the Sudan after the murder of their husband and father to relocate in the United States, more precisely in Brooklyn, New York. Excuse me. It is centered around a young man of 7, one of the main characters, Midnight, having to become the protector of his mother and sister, keeping his Muslim upbringing intact, realizing that being a black man in the United States was a threat to itself, seeing the flaws with the black American culture, seeing the huge difference between his homeland of Sudan and the place where they had to settle in. The story is about a young Muslim man who defies his American ways by keeping his belief system, applying the strategy that his fathers taught him, remaining an obedient son to his mother. It is the powerful story of love, growth, culture, bondage, honor, and respect. Now, just to say that, when I was reading this book, I was thinking about the video that I posted about Black Americans, which to me, I find that wasn't a derogatory, video. It was just a video where I was expressing what I felt. As you guys know that I traveled fairly young to the US, but I've never really adjusted to that lifestyle. And when I read this book, I said to myself, Souljah is a Black American. So Souljah is a woman of color who is of the United States. And if you don't know anything about Sister Souljah, I will gladly suggest that you run a background, kind of like read through her work. She has been an amazing voice for Black people in the United States. She has been an amazing teacher, not only through like her voice in hip hop, but through her writings. If you ever read anything from Souljah, she teaches the Black youth of how their ways is very destructive. She teaches of the fact that the Black youth are not guided, like they are left to fend for themselves. Personally, what do I think? I feel like this is a book that every high school should have, especially high schools where middle school, high school, Souljah should be an author that is read. Like it should be part of the curriculum. I don't know why they don't have it. I'm assuming that they don't have it because of course they don't want people to empower themselves and they don't want the young people to, understand the games that is being run. Although I'm going to say that some of these high schools that I work with or attended some of their events in the past, I feel like maybe they don't have like people, because you have to remember that in the high school, some of these high schools that I've visited or worked with, a lot of time the people who sit at the board are not people of color. A lot of time the people who have these power to determine what goes and what say, what program are done, what program are run, are white American people. So they may not even know anything about Sister Souljah. They may not have never read about Sister Souljah. They may not have the same lifestyle that some of their students have. This is why I feel, and I always felt like this is one of the reasons why like working in education, like I can't be a teacher, because I feel like being a teacher is kind of like being focused on academia and you kind of like are boxed in. Whereas like when you can run programs and you can tell them, okay, let's just do this, let's do that. It's a lot better because you can enlarge people's vision. So I definitely feel that young people in America, black people, and by black people I mean all of us, even those of us who are immigrants, because we blend in. This is what happens. We come into your country and a lot of time we blend in with you guys and we lose ourselves. So I feel like Sister Souljah should be read. This is an incredible story of, like I said, not only love, but it teaches you. This is a powerful book. This is a book that I'm going to recommend to any and everyone, no matter your age. So whether it is that you are older, so you may be in your 40s, you may be in your 50s, and you are a black man, or any man for that matter of fact, but it is so great. And as a writer, I was just discussing this with my girlfriend when I was finished with that, because I used to read a lot of like African American authors, black authors. I used to read them, and when I read them, I was in my 20s, in my early 20s, and it was fun to read them. Some of their books, I remember Dutch. I remember like so many books that I still have here. It's great. However, from a language perspective, I find that it's only Souljah and Eric Jerome Dickey as black authors that I find are at that level. I don't find that the African American authors, for the most part, when it comes to like sentence structures, when it comes for like like the way, the style of writing, I don't believe that. Like, I would not recommend anyone but Sister Souljah. Eric Jerome Dickey, because some of his books are very explicit, not necessarily for high schools, but Eric Jerome Dickey for anyone, for pleasure or anything. But Sister Souljah most definitely can enter any type of like curriculum. Like, she should be there. Because when you write, you have to write and you have to be able to teach people. You understand? I don't know if Souljah actually went to the Sudan. If she, like, I can't remember the lecture that she gave. I really can't, because I don't even think that when Souljah gave the lecture in Boston that she talked about the book at the time. I think she again thought she was teaching. Because I remember the one thing, if you ever attend a Souljah lecture, you are not allowed to for your phone. She does not allow for people to film. To film her, to record her. You all pictures are at the end where you get a book signing and you take your picture with the author. So I can't really remember like what she talked about, but I know she didn't talk about the book. But some of these questions that I have would be kind of like, did she go to the Sudan? Because you learn so much in this book as far as like the real Muslim culture. You know what? It's so crazy that I was reading this and I said to myself, the way she portrays it. Now, mind you, I know a lot of quote unquote Muslim people that, to me, I always question how they are Muslim. And she talks about these type of like Muslim people who are probably people who grew up in the United States. But here in this book, when you read about Souljah and what she teaches you in this book, it's like, oh my God, I again don't even feel like I'm doing justice. She goes into detail into teaching you about, culture, about structure, about being a man, about being raised with fathers and grandfathers. She teaches through this book about the African culture, which it's so funny how, like, when I post my videos, some black people were very offended by that. But the reality is, I remember going to high school with African kids and black American kids making fun of them because they were from different countries, because their attire was very different. Now, we're not going to get into detail with this because I want to keep it like a little short. But with the Haitians, it's a little different because the Haitians, they like to blend in really fast. So they're quick to like dress alike with the Americans, kind of like style. But with the African people, it's not the same thing. An African child who comes from Africa, a lot of times they take a long time to adjust, because it's kind of like their attire, their outfit is their pride and joy. So they don't have a problem coming to school with their attire. However, you understand that a lot of these kids were bullied. A lot of these kids were kind of like trash because of their appearance, because of the way that they were so different. So Souljah talked about that. Souljah talks about like the lineage of having your grandfather, having your father, having structured life, and how that can discipline you. So all in all, this book deserved like a billion star. I enjoy it. I felt like I read it at a I reread it at a very particular time, because I bought this book actually in 2008. I think my brother sent that book for me, or was it Joanne that sent that book? I usually write. In 2008, I think this book was given to me by one of the persons who serve as the board members of the youth agency. Joanne sent me that book. And I think the second one, my brother sent it to me, and the third one I received when I attended like her lecture. So this book, I read it, I think this is my second time or third time reading it, but I feel like every time I read it, it does something to me. Like, it teaches me something. And I enjoyed reading it at that particular time, because you guys know that I've told you guys that I had started to date again, and I wasn't satisfied with the way that went, and I kind of like just shut down and focused on my work. And sometimes when you do that, and when you have a world where everybody accepts anything, you do kind of like doubt yourself, you doubt your standard, you ask yourself, okay, am I being too picky? Okay, like, should I just kind of like mold myself differently? But reading this book, it reaffirms that I should not even be dating the way that I should have been dating, because it's kind of like, it teaches you how a man is supposed to court you like a man of value, how he's going to treat a woman of value. This book is going to be like an eye-opener. It's just, I recommend it to young men, to old men. I recommend it to young women, to older women. It's a great book. It's very extremely captivating. You will not be able to put it down. You will learn a lot from it. You will enjoy it. It should be like a Christmas gift to like your daughter, your niece, your nephew, your son, anyone. Like, just get this book, read it, analyze it, have a group discussions with your family, with your nephews, like with anybody. Just kind of like, this book is amazing, guys. It's really amazing. So this is way too long. I hope you guys like really enjoyed this first different style of book writing. I'm on my second one, so hopefully you'll get it before the end of the year. Hopefully I'll finish that. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.